Namaste, greetings, and welcome to episode number 107 of your show Manage Better. This is a show where I bring consultants, authors, practitioners, people who've done something worthwhile and are willing to share their story and the lessons that they have learned. Over the last 106 episodes, several leading personalities in the field of business, enterprise, some authors, coaches have been on the show, and we've tried always to make an effort that we bring guests who can teach something that you can use. As the name goes, manage better is mostly about what can we do to help you manage better at work and sometimes in life also, right? So mostly about work, and with your love and affection and support, we have crossed over 106 episodes. Today is 107. Another 7 8 lined up, so I think we are going good. One quick check, as always, that I do that just to check if you are watching this on LinkedIn or on YouTube. If you can let me know that you can see me well and hear me well, that will be nice, because technology has sometimes a funny way of not working at the exact moment. But hopefully it is. So if you let me know where you've joined from, and if you can see me, hear me well, that will be awesome. I can see that the LinkedIn connection and YouTube connection is working fine. Okay, so with that out of the way, very important, kind of making sure that the tech is working. But today's episode is a little different. We've recently been focusing on very career guidance, coaching kind of sessions, and mid-career mostly, and a lot of speakers like Shiv Kumar, Prabir Jha, S.V. Nathan. These are very HR, I would say, human resource or career guidance kind of professionals, very leading professionals. So we got those in, but there was a lot of demand for that. Since I am fairly active on LinkedIn, and many of my audience people are also from LinkedIn, so the demand was that we want to learn how to grow a little better on LinkedIn. Grow as in grow in terms of followers, influence, impact that you make. So amongst the people I know, and I know quite a lot of people now on the LinkedIn, one name shines through in terms in the last 4 or 5 years is Priyank Ahuja. Priyank has had, and we will invite him and ask him about the journey. But from what I know, uh, in less than 4 years, just about 4 years, he's almost on the verge of 6 lakh, which is 600,000 followers on LinkedIn. And if you are generous today, and maybe he will touch the 6 lakh figure today itself. So now, of course, I more than anybody else knows that followers are not everything. But in a social media situation or a professional social media uh, platform, followers do matter, because they are the ones that keep your journey fueled. They are the followers engage with you, they like your content, they make you what you are. Based on their feedback, you are able to adjust. So I don't come from the school where we say that numbers are not important. Numbers are not the most important thing, but they are certainly important. If you are online in this kind of a game, obviously numbers do matter. So a little bit about Priyank, and then we will invite him into the stream. So Priyank is, of course, most of you know as a popular person on LinkedIn and other social media, but he has a full-time job like me. So he actually works for a large IT services firm like I do, and has been in this space working with various or leading organizations, including uh, Accenture, TCS, and quite a few others. So that is one life that he lives. The other life that he lives is as a product coach, mentor, guide, teacher, trainer. So that is another life that he lives. And of course, the life that you are more familiar with is the social media one. I won't be able to do justice to his entire profile. So my recommendation is that you hit Priyank Ahuja's profile on LinkedIn, and now, of course, on Twitter, or now called X, and see uh, his credentials on your own and decide whether you want to follow him or not. Okay, so time to invite Priyank to the stream. Priyank ji, namaskar, namaste, and welcome to the stream. A long time coming, थोड़े आगे पीछे हो करके फाइनली शेड्यूल हमारे मैच हो गए. So welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm fine, Anshuman. Hope you are also doing well.
Fantastic. Very happy that finally this episode, which has been delayed a few times, is finally happening. And you are a busy person, and my work schedule also sometimes clashes, but finally we are able to make it happen. So thank you for that. Any opening words, Priyank, for today's episode in terms of anything that you have to share before we get into the questions and go a little deeper? Anything that comes to mind?
Sure. When I invited this event about a couple of days back on LinkedIn, there are also many queries I have received, and in fact, you also received so many queries. So we both together will happy to answer those particular queries of our audience. Whosoever wants to grow their influence on LinkedIn.
Perfect. That is something we'll try. And of course, I
Yeah.
have already got some queries, so I have kind of classified those questions into some categories. So we will take those first, and to the people who joined already, and if you have questions after 10-15 minutes, you can start posting your questions on LinkedIn and YouTube, and we will also take questions from the audience. So that will help, because if there's some question that you have about LinkedIn and how to grow on LinkedIn, Priyank will be able to answer. And hopefully, in some cases, I might also have something to add, because I've also been slowly but steadily growing a little bit on the platform. Nothing like Priyank, but we all have our own journey, right? So सबकी अलग अलग journey है. So I think, Priyank, the first obvious question is that we are all 4 5 years old into this social media space, right? So I may be 50, you may be 40, somebody may be 30, somebody else may be 20, but social media age is 5 years only for all of us. So because before this it didn't exist in the way that it exists today. So whatever you have seen in terms of reaching about almost 6 lakh followers on LinkedIn and many others on other platform, how did you even start? Because nothing in your background, in your profile suggests that you will be a star, rock star on LinkedIn. So, kya hua? What happened that you got so interested in this and devoted so much effort? Of course, without effort, nothing is possible, right? So, there must be a lot of effort. We'll come to the effort part later, but tell us your journey as to at least the LinkedIn journey, how it started and why, and how it progressed, the early days, so to say.
Sure. So before 2020, hardly less than 1% of the creators actually used to create their post on LinkedIn. But after COVID, all of a sudden you see that so many creators jump into this particular pool and now they are posting the content. If you see the stats, there are around 4.2% creators right now are putting their content every day. Now this transition actually happens post COVID only, and I am also one of that creator who actually started consistently after the COVID only. So I am continuously seeing the post of so many creators whom I love their content between 2015 to 2020. I would like to name some of them like Ankur Variku, Kamalika Potar, or even Satakshi Sharma, and even Sampark Sadeva. I used to see their post frequently on LinkedIn, and somehow it actually motivated me to write the content. But I have a hesitation. Why should I write on LinkedIn? Log kya kahenge? What people will say, what my colleagues will say, and also what my family members and what my relatives and even my own parents, what they say about what I am writing this kind of things on LinkedIn. But after COVID, when I see that a lot of students, a lot of professionals are actually facing problem about their job, their internship letters got revoked, and in fact they are not, you can say, getting their joining letters on time, and in fact they are also facing a lot of problems in terms of existing inside the same company. Every you can say offline employee is now confined into their own home, and that's the transition point where I want to raise my voice. I would like to share their insights and also want to provide my recommendation what they should do in this particular COVID period, how they can do the cross skilling and upskilling, how they can search for the new job, and if suppose they get laid off, then how they can utilize this time to groom themselves so that whenever the COVID period will be lifted up, then how they can transition to their new job. So that's how I started my journey on LinkedIn. Initially the response was not good. My 2 3 posts were actually, you can say, hardly get a 5 to 6 likes only. And the third post actually went viral when I talked about how to crack the interviews, especially this duration. And that actually kick-started my journey on writing content on LinkedIn. And initially, as I mentioned earlier, if you are new to this particular platform, LinkedIn actually pushed new creators to grow their audience. And within, you can say, 14 months, I easily crossed 1 lakh followers.
Fantastic. I think this is a lesson for anybody who's wanting to start. That firstly, of course, and I also went through this, so I can relate, though my journey is slightly different. But most people I speak to who started in this same space around 2020, around that, you can call it COVID phase or कोई भी name आप देना चाहें. But most people had this struggle that initially it didn't pick up, but then one or two posts, once they found that click between the audience and the what kind of things we should write, then that change started happening. And you're right, you know, a lot of people early on, even now LinkedIn does push new creators a little bit, up to till a point, of course, you know, then their content has to shine. So support is there for only a little bit, but fascinating journey. And now, what is your follower count today? 597 or something?
598, still 2000 left for to grow 6 lakh.
So we will hope and pray that in today's show or over the weekend your 600 happens. So, but uh, but yeah, that is fascinating because of course, like I said earlier, follower is not everything, but it is important because in this space, why we are on LinkedIn is because we want to increase our influence and impact. So the more people we are able to reach, there is a higher chance of increasing our influence and impact. So in that sense, followers are extremely important. And I also see that your engagement on your post is also very high. So it is not only followers, it is also engagement. We'll come to those nice, you know, twists and turns because you are the expert here. But thank you for sharing your initial journey. Little bit now, maybe taking you 4 years ago, or when you started. If you were to start today, right? So maybe 4 years younger Priyank, or somebody else who's starting now, whom you know very well, and you could advise them. And there will be a lot of people in this episode, and also because this episode is recorded and available later, people will watch it later as well. So, what
Hmm.
will be your advice to a younger, 4 year younger Priyank, or anybody else who wants to start today in this space? You know, you are more in the career space and job support, interview, career, those kind of space, in that space, right? So, that is your specialty. What would be your advice? What should people do?
Okay. So when I started writing content on LinkedIn, I was having age of 36 years. Now I have crossed the 40 years age. So if I would like to give advice to my younger self, I would like to say that each one of the you can say professional who is having account on LinkedIn, they have a rich and diverse experience. Because if you already completed 1 decade of experience in a company, definitely you are the best person to guide to the freshers, to the you can say students, how they can survive into this corporate world. Because I deal with three generations so far, my senior generation, my current generation, as well as the junior who have just started their journey on the corporate. So for the new babies who actually want to start the content right now, first of all, they don't have to worry what their colleagues will talk about. If you start writing content on LinkedIn, pick up any topic which excites you more, where nobody can replace you, where you are the best person to share your insights, your journeys, your stories, as well as your experience. So pick up any topic. Is it related to your failures? It is related to your success. It is related to your challenges. Pick up anything, whatever you know much better as compared to other, and start writing content on LinkedIn. Initially, it will be very hard for you to maintain consistency, but at least you have to write thrice a week, 3 times a week. You can start, you can say on Monday, then Wednesday, as well as on Friday. At least 3 times you have to write in a week to remain consistent on this platform. If you want to skip Saturday, Sunday, that's okay because very few audience are active on LinkedIn. That's perfectly fine. So you have to at least start 3 times a week. Second advice would be that you have to continuously watch analytics on LinkedIn, because this will actually help you what type of format actually works for you. There are multiple formats which you can try. You can try long form content without any picture, just a plain text format you can write. Second, you can try the long form content with the pictures. Obviously, you can share any picture, especially your awards, your achievements, your seminars, your speaking engagement, anything, or any kind of meetup you have attended in the past. So you can pick up, put up that picture as well with your long form content, because this combination of text plus video, of audio, text plus picture will actually works well on the platform. Third type of format is your video. You can even create a short reel of 90 seconds that actually also work well right now on the LinkedIn. This actually getting a good engagement these days. Or even you can also try out the PDF format as well, which we also called as a carousel. So you have to try each and every format and try to see your analytics, how you are getting impressions, what is the engagement percentage. Basically, the engagement percentage is calculated as likes plus comment plus repost divided by total number of impressions. If you are getting this percentage more than one, then you are a good creator. But if you are getting engagement between less than even zero point 0.1, you have to keep experiment a lot, and this actually helps you to identify the right time of posting, the right kind of format which works for you. Third advice is
So,
that be
Priyank,
mindful about,
before you
yeah,
before you jump to the further, I think this engagement percent that you just explained quickly went
yeah,
a little too quickly for at least me and my audience.
yeah, yeah,
Some of it we know, but this is the slight math that many people ignore and don't figure
yeah,
out. So, can you
yeah.
re-explain that percentage, and then we can come back to the answer again once again.
Yeah. So engagement percentage is calculated as number of likes plus number of comments on your post plus number of repost or reshare. When
Hmm.
you post any content, you see these particular three metrics: like, comment, as well as repost. You have to take
Correct.
the total sum into the numerator, and you have to divide with the total number of impressions. Impressions are
Hmm.
only visible to you, so you
Hmm.
have to
Correct.
divide that and take the percentage. If your percentage is more than 1, then you are a great creator. If you it is less than zero point 0.1, then you have to keep experiment a lot for your content. So initially your percentage would be low, and later on you will definitely close to the 1%.
So I'll give one example, Priyank, because I also have had some posts with a lot of views. Just to explain what Priyank said and making it a little bit more real, is that, for example, a, I think a 60-second video that I posted a couple of months back or even last week or so went completely viral in terms of impressions from my standard, right? So it had 1.5 million views and impressions and all. But I need not be very happy about it because it is only injected in many feeds. And this I am sharing because people should learn from this experience that it might have been injected in 1.5 million feeds, but the first one got about, I think, 500 likes and 200 comments or so, and 30, 40 reshares, or maybe less than that. So, what Priyank is saying is that the likes, let us say 1000 likes, I'm just making up, I don't remember the exact number, 1000 like, 500 comments, so 1500, and let's say 50. So, 1500 over 1.5 million is a very very poor metric from a engagement point of view, right? Ideally it should be much higher, but this is also happening these days on LinkedIn because the videos are getting injected in a lot of feeds. It will stabilize over a period of maybe 2 3 months once LinkedIn finds a balance. So, but for regular post, if you find this metric 1% or more, that is a very good post. And if you consistently do 1% or more, let us say you are writing 3 to 4 times a week and two of those posts are crossing this number, then like Priyank said, you are doing well. So thanks, Priyank. Sorry, I interrupted you so that I can explain this in slight with an
Yeah, yeah.
example because थोड़ा technical हो जाता है कभी. But back to you. You were sharing one more tip for the 36-year-old Priyank or
Yeah.
anybody else who's starting today. Uh,
Sure. And the third and most important advice I would like to share is be mindful about your timing. So timing is really important when you are about to post the content on LinkedIn. Majority of people used to post the content when they are idle, but you have to understand that you have to make sure that this content should be read by your audience. So make sure you should put the content when they are actually idle. So the best time, according to me, to post the content where maximum audience are actually free is 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. As and in the evening 6 to 7 p.m. This is the brilliant time when you can actually write the content. If you are posting any heavy content like a big carousel, a long form content, then this timing will work. But if you are putting a short term content, just like a short quote or you can say two liner or one liner, then according to me, the lunchtime as well as the night time between 10 to 11, that actually works well, because that time the audience is actually, you can say, lenient, and they are not in a you can say right mood to consume a healthy you can say long form content. Just short form
Hmm.
content actually works in the afternoon or in the night hours, but don't post any other hour, otherwise your audience will not be able to engage it.
And Priyank, this of course, the assumption is that the audience is primarily in the India and Indian subcontinent because that is the time zone that you are suggesting, right? So if somebody has an audience, let us say in the US or UK, then we have to cater to their morning
Absolutely.
time, right?
Absolutely.
So there are some creators who work out of India, but who create for audience in the US or UK or other time zones. So I always advise them that it is better to then cater to their morning, because then your post will get injected in their feed around the same time. Otherwise, like Priyanka explained, and the science behind this is that LinkedIn will show your post to your regular readers first. It could be from the people who are your connections or your regular followers. But if some, let's say 50 people are regularly following your post, they will get the post first. And if they like, then it moves forward. You will see it in your own post also. So anybody, if you are experimenting, open your LinkedIn, you right now you will see that anybody, if you have liked a post of a creator in the last 2 3 days, his or her post will definitely show in your post feed today. If you don't like it now or in the next one or two things, LinkedIn will start removing him or her from your
Absolutely.
feed. So this is how it works, and Priyank gave a very good summary of how a younger person starting today, or anybody who's starting today, young or old, right? There may be a 55, 50, 60-year old today who wants to get more active. The same tips like Priyank shared will be useful. I found, Priyank, your explanation of finding your the sweet spot or the topic very very important, because a lot of people actually struggle with that.
Hmm.
I also struggled initially when I started writing more actively about 5 6 years ago. So unlike you, I'm not a product of the COVID thing. I started little before that, though I've been a member of LinkedIn from 2006, I think, or five. But initially, to LinkedIn page, there was not much activity. Only in the last 6 7 years it has become active. But
Hmm.
initially, I still do a lot of book reviews, which I like doing. So I will not stop that. Then I wrote a lot about LinkedIn itself and personal branding. And then I realized that a lot of people are actually in that space much better than me. So I may not be a credible voice in that space, or at least, I'm one of so many people. My major strength, and this is I'm sharing openly publicly, this, Priyank, but my major strength is that with some experience in corporate industry, I can share lessons and guides, or guidance for youngsters like not many other people. So I have that uniqueness, or at least some, you can say, experience that I can now share. So that everybody has some uniqueness. Please try and find that. And if you are posting film reviews, then make sure that you are in the film industry or film line. Otherwise, that is not helping your audience. Once in a while is okay, but
Yeah.
not. Okay, I think so. Priyank, we are off to a good start, and this is a reminder that now we are towards the half of the show. So you can post your questions. Those who are joining on about 150 people on LinkedIn, and I can't see the YouTube number, but usually YouTube is later on, not live. So you can post your questions. We will ask Priyank towards the second half of the show. And there are a lot of people who must have joined this live streaming from Priyank, your feed. So, of course, they already follow you. So, if my request to them is that they look at my profile, and if they find me worthwhile, they can follow. And those who have joined from my notification, please check Priyank's profile. Fantastic content around careers, interviews, those kind of skills. And these days, a lot of around new tech also. So, which we will talk about a little bit. Okay, so moving on, Priyank, I think the previous question was more about people who are starting out, so going from 0 to 50k or 100k, those kind of things, right? So but you are at 600k now approximately, right? A few couple of thousand left, but let us say 600k, right? So what should people with 25 50k who have started the journey, already achieved a little bit, but there is a long road ahead, what would be your advice to those people, somebody who's at 25 20k 50k today, to get to 500? Of course, because you have already traveled that journey, so you know better than many. Any tips, two, three high level tips for such people? You can take my example. I am approximately at 55, 58 or 59 today. No, it's 60 crossed. Okay, I keep forgetting this, but so I'm 10% of you. But how can I get better, or how can somebody like me who's in that space can get to 500k?
Okay, so I would share the best strategy. Okay. If you have already crossed up to 50K, now the next level is to build your authority, your credibility, as well as create your own voice on the LinkedIn. So, if you have already identified your niche, where you have to write the content and how you want to grow your audience, then your next target should be identify in which geography you want to build your authority and credibility. Let's say example, suppose if you want to grab audience like in the career coaching field, especially in the US market, then you have to identify at least 15 to 20 big influencer under this particular category who are residing in US demography or who are posting the content as per their time zone, and put up their notifications on and start engaging with their content. Now, if I talk about the engagement, it doesn't mean that you are writing just one keyword like great, share, wow, amazing, insightful. I am asking about your meaningful comment. Now, meaningful comment, it's not necessary, it should be too long. It should be 2 to 3 lines also. But make sure you should add your perspective and share your experience and insights based upon the context shared by the relevant creator. So, share your meaningful comment on their post. If you are active in the night hours, especially for the US audience up to 11:30, and if your notifications comes on time, then definitely if you write the meaningful comment, it will always stay at the top on their feed. And whosoever read your comment, then ultimately their audience will start attracted toward you. So that's how you can steal the audience, especially from the different demography. And you can also, you can say, generate the leads. You can also, you can say, do the conversions from their audience, and also they can slowly become your follower as well. So that's how you can build your authority and credibility with the different audience. Second point, you have to understand that followers sometimes matter, sometimes doesn't matter. Now, where does it matter? It actually matters, especially when you want to grab the audience of different locations. So every day, at least you have to make a strict routine that I have to engage with this much amount of the creators, you can say, content, and you have to fix your schedule and you become aware at what time they are actually posting up. So make sure you should consistently engage with their content, and that's how your audience as well as their audience will become aware what you are good at and how you are actually showcasing your present, and this will exponentially increase your audience from 50K to 100K and later on up to 200K. And if you want to get noticed, especially on the LinkedIn, then they have their own criteria, and you have to choose one niche. Don't change your niche, and this is how actually you will be able to become a big influencer on the LinkedIn in the shortest span of time. So first is your engagement, second your discipline, third is your consistency, and fourth, understand which target audience you want to acquire, and that's how you can grow exponentially on LinkedIn.
Fantastic. I think so. I was making some notes, Priyank, because sooner or later I have to get to at least 100k. In my space, 100k will be a lot, but I truly like this first approach that you shared, that if we identify with some other creators who are doing well in the space that we are in, then actually it's pretty nice that if we can go and one, of course, it gives you content ideas also, because if you read other people's content who are in the same space, you have an opinion on that, and or a view on that. Maybe it is a slightly different view, or even if it is a supportive view, it becomes your own post idea as well. So I have done this a lot of times, and I find that it's hugely inspiring, and also more importantly, unless we are learning something, we will not be able to create anything. So this way, you are also learning. So, so cool. Um, some questions are coming in, but let me just pick one question quickly. Um this is a question I had also, but I think Astha is asking in the right way. That lot I will give some background that many times people feel that there is particularly people who are doing full time creation, there is no money on LinkedIn. So how do I make money? Because unlike other platforms which pay you for usage or followers or impressions or other such metrics, LinkedIn doesn't pay you. The purpose is completely different. Their approach is very different. But obviously, if somebody is investing a lot of time, effort, energy, then they will expect some return. One of the ways is brand collaborations and all. You have done a few. So, how would Asta's question is how one should attract brand collaborations through LinkedIn, or we just wait and let it happen? Anything.
Okay. So, Asta, there are two ways in which you can attract the brand collaboration. I will share both the things in this open forum. First is that once you maintain the consistency about a particular niche, the relevant brand, you can say POCs will definitely reach out to you. Or even there are so many agencies are there who actually bridging the gap between the creators as well as the brands. They will definitely reach out to you via cold emailing, via DM. So please keep checking their messages or emails if it is coming at your profile. So once you gain substantial amount of follower, let's take example minimum 30,000, then ultimately they will start getting noticed, your content get noticed by them, and they will definitely reach out to you. But don't change your niche, because if you change your niche multiple times, then definitely they become confused and they will not find your profile relevant. Suppose if you want to get the brand deal of suppose cosmetic, then you have to write the content on that particular area only. Suppose if you want to attract the audience, suppose in L&D, then you have to put the content in that particular content. But all of a sudden, if you change the content, definitely that brand will lose interest in your content. Second way is that you have to do cold emailing from your side. And the best way is search out who are the influencer marketing executives active on LinkedIn, and you have to reach out to them personally via email, via DM, or via call. And that's how you can showcase your profile, and you will be able to get the brand conversions with them. So this is how you can also do effort from your end. And initially it will be very hard to grab 2 3 brand deals, but later on you will get a, you can say, testimonial ready, sorry, your portfolio ready, that I worked with XYZ brand and this was the engagement percentage, and that's how the future brand collaboration will automatically come up. If your first brand deal will actually bring good result, then ultimately the same brand will come back again and again every month, or once in a quarter, or once in a year, and that's how exponentially you grow your presence in this particular field. But make sure you should charge the right amount, especially when you actually you can say in this particular collaboration field. So don't charge too much and don't charge too less, otherwise it will be diluted in this particular space.
Cool. Thank you, Asta, for your question, and Priyank for the answer. I hope, Asta, you had your answer. So essentially, it is both. You have to reach out as well as you increase your influence to such an extent that you will get noticed. And one way to is to keep in the same space, because then your mastery or credibility in the same space will be noticed. Otherwise, if you write on 10 topics, then your mastery will not be noticed because it will be spread out across multiple things. Unless, of course, you are a general knowledge or a current affairs kind of a specialist, which then LinkedIn is not the platform for that. We'll take one question from YouTube also, Priyank. Tarun Kohli is a regular on the show and he's asking few tips on how to balance your time splitting between posting on LinkedIn along with doing your regular job, since you have a full-time job also. managing family, of course, obligations and other things. So yeah, so there were actually three questions of this kind. I have selected Tarun's question as the representative. So thanks to all the other people also who asked the similar question. Anything, Priyank, on this? How can you advise Tarun?
So Tarun, everyone will have the same time. You also have 24 hours. Anshuman also have 24 hours. In fact, I also have 24 hours. Nobody has more time. Like I have 32 hours or 40 hours. That is not the case. Everyone have the same time. Now it's all about the prioritization. What we have to do, especially while writing the content on LinkedIn. So here you have to adopt a smart time management skill set. First is that at least whenever you are free, you have to create the content, especially in bulk for the future. If you talk about me, I have my, you can say, a buffer of around let's say around 180 days of content ready for the next 6 months. Now why I created the buffer? Because I know my busy schedule. I know all of a sudden sometime brand collaboration happen. I also know that sometimes LinkedIn algorithm don't work, don't support, because they consistently giving the push to the new creators as well. So for that purpose, I have keep my stock ready, so that whenever the right time will come up, I will immediately use that buffer content and keep posting on the LinkedIn. So don't chase first writing on LinkedIn. Create a stock about couple of topics. At least you should create a stock of at least 15 days content in handy. Once you have to start writing the habit, develop the habit of writing content, and once you become consistent in that case, then you have to start slowly on posting on LinkedIn. When you post on LinkedIn, I mean, make sure you should be free at least for 30 minutes. When you post the content, make sure you should be available for 30 minutes, so that if whosoever engage with your content, you should be ready to give respond back to their comments. So initially slow start like this and post only once in a particular day, and this exercise you have to repeat for a couple of weeks. Then ultimately you will be able to prioritize how you write the content in shortest time, how to give engagement to the other people, and how you can balance your work. So why I mentioned earlier that you have to write the content between 8:30 to 9:30, so that you will not be able to interrupt your work the moment you get started at 9 o'clock, and you will not be able to, you can say, create any issues in your work till 6 o'clock, because you are posting about after 6 o'clock. If you have a busy schedule, you can schedule your post also. You don't have to worry about it. There are internal LinkedIn tool as well, where you can schedule the content, and at the right time will be ultimately published on your profile. So this is how you will be able to apply this smart time management skill set, and this will actually boost your productivity and increase your engagement.
Really well said, Priyank. I think so. Tarun, I hope you got something to implement. But most important was that you have some kind of a stock of content that if you want to write daily uh, or post daily, you may not write daily, but if you want to post daily, then every day if you are in that struggle of creating that content, that is unlikely to get you benefit. So you will need some like a 1 week, 2 week kind of a stock so that you are not in pressure daily. Plus, like Priyank said, if you are particularly working full time, I have a day job like Priyank and I have. If you are going to create on that morning, then you are already too late, right? Because then you might get into some work meeting. Work should take priority. uh, for all of us, our bread and butter is our day job. This is something, a hobby, you can say. So very well
One
explained, Priyank.
one point
Sure.
I would like to add for those who actually want to start their journey on LinkedIn: don't write anything which goes against your company policy, your client
Correct.
conflict, as well as you can say something which is not, you can say, under the lines of your organization terms and conditions. Don't write anything, and don't share anything which is actually confidential where you are working on the LinkedIn, because this is completely against, and the, strict action can also be taken care in future as well. So be mindful. Don't indulge in any kind of political debate. Don't indulge in any kind of argument, debate, or criticism, and that's how you will create a healthy content, and everyone will appreciate the same. Sometimes burning issues are also coming up on LinkedIn, that some companies doing these kind of wrong things. As an employee, we are, you can say, working on toxic culture or something like that. So don't get indulged in these kind of conversation, because ultimately recruiters keep watching on you if you are searching for a job. Your clients are also watching you. Your prospects, customers are also keep your profile continuously looking here and there. So make sure do not dilute your personality like this by indulging in writing these kind of content. Although you will get a tons of engagement, but ultimately it will dilute your own personality.
Very important point, I think, Priyank, because this is sometimes people, start believing that because they have followers, they can post anything and followers will. Followers are also very smart. They are not following you for random advice. They are following you for advice in that space. Like Priyank writes so much about career and job related topics. But and now you can branch slowly outside. For example, I write about mid career and slightly senior career cases. I don't write much about young career or early career. So suddenly if I start writing about that or pick up an issue which is popular today, it doesn't mean anything. So you are right, and obviously be away from controversial topics because your opinion is permanent on LinkedIn. So please make note. It is not like you said something at a pan BD cigarette shop where after 5 minutes everybody will forget. Your opinion, what you said here today on a particular topic, whether it is a comment or a post, or even if you've
Everything.
liked something, everything is permanent. It
Yeah.
cannot be removed. So please keep that in mind that this is not your pan bidi cigarette store where you can say something and move on and it will be taken lightly. Okay, quite a few questions coming in. I think one interesting one is from, I can't see the name, but I checked LinkedIn and the person's name is Moon. Um, Similar question, how to discipline yourself to be consistent since writing is more a creative work. So I think, yeah, partly you answered this, Priyank, but good question that keeping some buffer is important because you will not become creative every day. There might be some lag. But if you have made a choice to post every day, then some price you have to pay by preparing in advance. Okay. Um, one, so we answered the money question in terms of in on Astha's question as well. So slightly, off track question. So now that you are in a, you have 600,000 approximately, and you are active on other platforms also. With such popularity, one negative thing, Priyank, is that a lot of trolls will also come. People will say things which are not nice, and at least I get a little bit, even though my followers are not that many. But sometimes and I do write sometimes very blunt posts, so I understand that they may poke the sentiments of some people, and they choose to respond. But I noticed that you don't write very controversial something. You write in a helpful way. Your posts are usually about advice and this is what you can do. So you are not writing on the edge as such, which is a nice strategy. So I appreciate that and I learned from that. But you must be getting some negative opinion, trolls, and all. How do you handle that? First of all, do you get it? And if you get, then how do you handle it?
Yeah, I do often get sometime hateful comments also, sometime on personal DM as well, and sometime you can say gossip also happened in different kind of small gathering as well. So the best part is that cut down your negativity from such kind of conversations, debates, or argument, and don't get too much involved in that. Because the moment you
Hmm.
become popular, that 1% people will always try to pull your leg down, and definitely they will don't appreciate that you are growing at a very fast pace. If you grow exponentially, your enemies, your haters will also grow exponentially. And if you become popular, the rate will be some you can somewhat lower than as compared to your exponential growth. But definitely 1% people don't appreciate it. If you waste your energy, then definitely you will not be able to develop creativity in writing the good content. So you don't have to, you can say, get involved in giving response, or you can say giving your so much clarification on their comments as well as likes. So there is no need. Why? Because it will ultimately, you can say, backfire your own mental peace. You will not remain, you can say, happy, and you will start give up on writing the content. Not only LinkedIn, but also on other platform like Instagram, Threads, or even Telegram, or even Twitter or YouTube. You will immediately give up. So why you actually become demotivated by them? If people are actually talking about you, it means you are popular. That's why they don't have any other topic. But if they try to defame you, until unless if your self-respect as it is stake, please avoid that. If your self-respect as a stake, then definitely you should respond that. But only once or twice response is okay. But don't get too much involved in any kind of debate or argument. Ultimately, people will also see how much resilience or how much patience you have. If you don't have the patience, then ultimately audience will not also appreciate your content.
Yeah, I think really well said. I have very little experience in this space, Priyank, but one thing I realized that I once or twice I responded kindly only, and then I stopped responding because I realized that the person only wants provocation or is provoking me and does not really want a response because they have decided what their point of view is, that they are not looking for a discussion or a debate. They are only looking for some provocation, and they get joy because if they're poking somebody popular, they get some pleasure out of it. So best strategy is to ignore, like you said. So ek, we'll take one question from, I think, your followers. Most of the questions were from my followers. So Bubbly K, Bubbly is asking, everyone is a motivator on LinkedIn. How to differentiate the real motivators, real top voices? अब ये तो कोई टेस्ट तो नहीं है बबली, बट एटलीस्ट आई डोंट नो, बट मे बी प्रियंक हैज सम idea how to differentiate the real motivators from there's so many that are there.
Okay, so to answer this question is that first of all, you have to identify the right voice on LinkedIn, and definitely it will be your top voice because every person is having their own top voice and they are perfect in their own niche. But you have to identify which content you have to consume, and if this aligns with your core values, your needs, your requirements, your wants, your necessity, then definitely it will become your real top voice. Second thing is that don't get fascinated by their stories on LinkedIn. First of all, understand how much impact they have created into the life of other real people, and try to get more details about that. And if there are n number of stories on the real life and as well as the impact, then definitely you feel motivated by the real top voice in their life. So this is how you can differentiate it. And nowadays you can see everyone is writing the content. So many people are writing xyz things on the LinkedIn, some sharing about their balance sheet, some talk about their fascinated property or investment or something like that. They have the right, they can put up anything on the LinkedIn, but you have to identify what is your requirement. And if that particular content actually inspire you and the impact they have also created is matching with your own vision, then definitely you can select your own real top voice and follow their content. It's purely up to you. Nobody is forcing to follow anyone's content. It's depend upon you to whom which content you have to consume. If this aligns with the core values, that's perfectly okay.
Hmm. I think that's a deep one. So I hope, Bubbly, you had your answer. Of course, there is no test, but with experience of consuming content from people, you will get some idea of whom you should follow. Um, I'm just trying to find one question that was there, and I can't seem to find it, but I'll get there. Um, One area always is that one complaint most creators have is that I create good content, I put in so much effort, this that, and but the reach is very limited.
Hmm.
We always notice that your reach is fantastic, and of course you have the follower count also, but your reach was even better, or very good when you had 100K also, 200K also. So you have maintained that reach ratio, if there is a term, so that your content actually reaches people, and within a 1 or 2 hour period your post is well received, mostly, right, almost 90% of the time. So once or twice maybe, uh, and in some ways the same happens to me with my numbers, right? So of course my follower count is lesser, but proportion wise I also find that in 1 or 2 hours I know that okay, this is working, and 40, 50, 60, sometimes 100, likes are there, and some comments are there. I actually enjoy comments more because I get an opportunity to then write and have a conversation. uh, but the question that I wanted to ask you, Priyank, is that how does one work on this reach? How can we increase the reach and make sure that the content that we have now worked hard should now reach more people, because effort has already gone in, you have already posted, but it is not reaching many people. So anything, any tips for such people that they can use so that their content actually reaches more people?
Okay, so I'm giving you a couple of examples to test whether your reach is good or bad or average. If you are
Hmm.
getting, let's say, example, less than 4,000 impressions in initial 1 hour, then your post will be dead in next 120 minutes. Means up to 3 hours, your post will be immediately dead on LinkedIn. It will not go further in someone's feed. So try to, you can say, monitor your impressions count, how they are performing in the initial 1 hour. So if it is less than 4,000, then definitely it will be dead in some time. But if you are getting a, you can say, impressions count between 4,000 to 6,000, then ultimately it will be treated as a average reach, where your post will be active on LinkedIn for at least 12 hours on this particular platform. But if you are getting impressions more than 6,000, then definitely it will be become active for next 2 to 3 days. No need to worry about it. Now those you can say audience who are not getting the reach up to 4,000 impressions in the initial 1 hour, what they have to do? There are two ways you can do. First is, whosoever engage on your content immediately respond back to their comment. This makes your post active, and ultimately it will start flashing into their audience as well as your audience again. So start engaging with a valuable comment once they post any comment, and reciprocate automatically. Second way is that you, after 35 minutes, you should click on repost of your own post, and ultimately it will give a boost again and make your post active. And there are 60% chances are still there where it will be treated as a fresh post, and ultimately it will boost to 2x or 3 times your own original post. So repost button is also there in your feed, and you have to utilize that as well. Third part is, consistently monitor your like and comment ratio. Now, like and comment ratio, what I mean is, if your number of likes and your number of comments are almost same, don't reciprocate to anyone. If they are writing a valuable comment, don't respond them, because if your content having more comments as compared to like, LinkedIn will ultimately suppresses your reach. They will treat as a spam post, because ideally it should not happen. If your likes ratio is more than 3 times of your comment, then ultimately it will start pushing your reach. So if you are replying back, make sure that ratio should not be disturbed. It should be 3 is to 1 rather than 1 is to 1. Then ultimately your content will pick up accordingly, and you will get a you can say faster reach on this particular platform. In worst scenario, if you see that I barely get 100 impressions after posting the content, immediately delete it, the same post, and repost after 1 hour. Sometimes
Hmm.
algorithm don't support when you post any content. This has happened almost 50 times with me in the last 3.5 years. So what I did, I immediately deleted and repost after 1 hour or two
Sometime.
hours and ultimately as a fresh post, LinkedIn will treat it as.
Ah, I the last one was new to me. The other things I have thought of, but I of course delete when I find some major error or something which can't be edited easily, if it is an image and spelling mistake and all. But I like this last idea, and very interesting idea, because if it is not picking up in the first half an hour, 45 minutes, then you know that it's unlikely to pick up. So better is
Yeah.
to save the content and repost, not repost as in using the repost button, but copy paste and save it somewhere, and then very nice. A lot of comments coming in. Um, Ritu Bhatia is saying great insight. Thank you, Ritu. So Priyank, you may not know Ritu is a international mountaineer as well, has completed two I think Kilimanjaro and Mount Elbrus last year. Uh, Very inspiring content also she posts on Instagram and here, and she's in my team. So I know her a little bit better than many other people. Okay, there was one question. Yeah, so there was one question. I can't find the name. So, what is the
That I
best
only
time to
answer.
post? Yeah, so this question was answered. Please, if you joined a little later in the show, no problem. Please watch it, watch the replay from the beginning, and you will be able to get the answer. Uh, just Jasprit is asking about how important it is to work and create content for company page with personal profile for founder. Oh, so assumption is that Jasprit is a founder, and she's asking should we post on company page or personal profile. I don't know Jasprit, but Priyank may, because my I post only on personal profile. I don't have a company page. I of course work for IT services firm, so sometimes I post on their behalf, or
Yeah.
content from organization, but mostly it is personal profile for me. But Priyank, any advice
Yeah.
for Jasprit?
So Jasprit, it is very, you can say, disheartening to provide you insights here that company pages are almost dead on LinkedIn. They never get any reach. And this is the, you can say, reality for each and every founder. They always struggle to, you can say, grow their company pages. And this is how a LinkedIn algorithm work. But if you really want to grow your, you can say, company page, I can share you alternate tips. First is you post the content from the company page, and as a founder or co-founder or your, you can say, team, I'm not sure how much big size your team is there, you should immediately start engaging on the company page content. Within 5 to 10 minutes you immediately engage it. When you post anything on the company page, it will ultimately boost that particular reach. Second way is you can do is you start as a founder, you start writing content as a founder and grow your audience. And in your, you can say, message body, you always mention that you should have to follow this kind of company page for more valuable insight, or you can create your own newsletter, week once in a week or bi-weekly, and also mention that please follow this particular company page. Once your company page have a substantial amount of followers up to 30,000, then ultimately whenever you post anything, it will start getting the reach. But till 30,000 you will always struggle to get any reach on your company page. So initial 30,000 is very difficult for you, but later on your, you can say, audience will start growing automatically.
I think this 30,000, Priyank, you mentioned, sorry, I am on not on screen itself, but speaking, but the 30,000 number you mentioned earlier also, and I was trying to recollect, you are right that, most of my journey also started around 25, 30. It started showing some better results. So you're right, it might be some kind of a critical mass. I think 4 or 5 years ago, it was about 10,000.
Yeah.
But now with so many people active on LinkedIn, the number is surely 25, 30,000. I can clearly see. Before that, it is a struggle. After
Hmm.
that, it is still a struggle, but different kind of struggle. So, you are not struggling for followers, but you are struggling more for content and content ideas and so many things. So the struggle, nature of struggle changes. We'll take one last question, Priyank. And I know that we are almost on time. So Asif Hayat Khan, he is a good friend from Pakistan. Um, he has slightly, his question is more about finding your niche, or so he's of course now he worked for many years in Unilever and is now a consultant also, but he's talking that most of the consultants will have some training or these kind of services that they offer. So how should they find their niche? So he's from operational excellence and my kind of space. Any advice for people like him to find their niche? How will they know that they found their niche?
Okay, so Asif, to answer your question is you have to find your niche, especially on the basis of what you are good at and what insights you can share in a simplest manner. The more you can say share your insights in a simpler way, the audience will connect automatically. So think about your area, your expertise, your excellence, where you can provide the valuable insights, and that will become your niche. Second thing is try to write the content in different formats according to your niche. Let's take example. Suppose if your niche is that how to crack the jobs, entry level jobs in management consulting. Now you can talk about anything related to resume, related to your behavioral round or HR round, or even case solving round, or even guesstimate solving, or even company research, or even what kind of typical questions you have to ask at the end of the interview. So that kind of, you can say questions you have to write in the content, and definitely see your, you can say, engagement level. So see the response whatever it is coming from your audience, and that's how you will be able to grow to the next level. So identify what advice you can share, and up to what depth and breadth you are able to handle that particular insights on the platform. Second thing, that stock should be very high. It's not like that you can write only 2 3 posts. It at least you should write the content for that particular niche for, let's say example, 3 to 4 months. Then only you can select that particular niche and keep select a couple of creators on your platform in the same niche, follow their content, and you will get tons of ideas automatically. That will also help you to grow further on LinkedIn.
I think fantastic, Priyank. We are on time, so I have no choice but to thank you and let you go. I know that you have other engagements. So thank you, first of all, for taking time and being very generous. It's very rare to find people who've learned so much about one platform and openly sharing, because, you know, you, of course, have always been generous, but nice to see that generous, and you encapsulated everything. So everything was like a capsule that people can take and use. So anybody who's watching this program later on as well, or as a recording, do try and follow Priyank, and he, maybe you will be the 600,000th follower that he will get. With that, thank you very much to my audience, and thank you, Priyank, of course. And the next week's show, same time, 11 a.m. on 28th, is with the founder and MD of Jaipur Rugs. Jaipur Rugs is a world famous, uh, carpet industry company. Very different kind of a show. So we will try and learn from him how, successful founder and somebody who has scaled in that industry. What can we learn from him? So with that, thank you, Priyank. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Anshuman, for inviting me. It was a lovely conversation with you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.